Personal Story segment tonight. Major scandal for the group Black Lives Matter. This man, 33-year-old Charles Wade, has been arrested in Maryland, charged with human trafficking, pimping. Police say he was running a 17-year-old prostitute out of a motel. The reason this is a scandal is because Wade says he was invited to the White House just 2 days ago after he was busted. Now, we don't know the timeline on that, but he was invited for a movie screening. We've called the White House and haven't gotten back to us. Also, this guy, innocent until proven guilty, so we all want to remember that, was the subject of a rather complimentary article in the Washington Post and even appeared on CBS News.
We moved to healing so quickly. Like, people are already like, you know, after Ferguson. And I'm in Ferguson like, after Ferguson? Are you kidding me? How are we after Ferguson? When you have, when the very thing that got us here has happened 2 more times in 3 months. For some people, justice is a legal victory. That's not justice for me. To me, justice is equality and accountability.
And now Mr. Wade will find out if he will be held accountable by the justice system. Joining us from Los Angeles to analyze, Geraldo Rivera. Here in New York City, Eric Bolling. So what does this guy do in Black Lives Matter?
Well, Black Lives Matter, according to Washington Post and Daily Caller, they've tied him to Black Lives Matter. It turns out he's a social justice warrior who raises money through Twitter and other means and uses it towards housing and feeding protesters. So you want to be a protester, you don't have money, you go to this guy and say, hey, give me a hand here. He puts you up in a hotel room, maybe feeds you a little bit. Turns out one of those hotel rooms that he paid money for turned out to be a pimping oration with allegedly a 17-year-old prostitute that ended up having a detective come in posing as a John and busting the group, and he says he had nothing to do with it.
Of course. Is that your understanding of Wade's activities with Black Lives Matter, Geraldo?
More or less. He doesn't seem to be in the leadership of BLM, Black Lives Matter, but he has this other group, Hope or Hush, you know, help or hush. You've got to participate or keep your mouth shut. But he's kind of a race hustler, and if these charges are true, he's a gross hypocrite. You know, when I was a young lawyer representing civil rights and anti-war activists, we had special contempt for what we called poverty pimps. A poverty pimp was someone who enriched themselves as they raised money. Now, this guy raised $25,000 a week, sometimes on Twitter. Where that money went, there's no accountability. It's all in cash. We don't know if he really was lining his own pockets, but he did opportunistically go wherever the action was, whether it was Ferguson and Michael Brown or Staten Island, Eric Garner, Freddie Gray in Baltimore.
He was pretty articulate in this and that. What was his pitch, Bolling, to raise the money? I mean, what was he telling people to do? Why? You know, send me money. Why?
Because you want to be part of the movement. You want to be part of it. Well, the Black Lives Matter movement.
Did he mention Black Lives Matter?
I believe he did, but he didn't specifically say he works with Black Lives Matter.
He worked with a group.
If you want to help the cause, the protest against social injustice with cops, etc. But don't forget, this is the same group. Remember, we went from that ended up here after Eric Garner on December 12th, walking down Fifth Avenue saying, what do we want? We want cops dead. When do we want that? We want it now. 8 days after this group did that, they got 2 dead cops. A guy came from Maryland, where this guy comes from.
That's why I don't understand.
And blows away Win-Jin Liu and
it was,
Rafael Ramos.
Pigs in a blanket, fry them like bacon and all that.
But I just have one cautionary note, though. You can't. The organization is one thing, Black Lives Matter, and there are positives and horrible negatives about the group. It's true. Many of the people, though, are good spirits who really want to help and see, you know, the African Americans being victimized by cops as a real problem.
There are lots of groups that do that don't have this stigma.
Well, that's true, but let's concentrate on Charles Wade. Now, Wade could very well be. Now, reading the police report, it sounds like the undercover has him cold. A 17-year-old, you know, prostitute in the Howard Johnson. The cop comes in. She offers oral and vaginal sex for $100 for a half an hour, wrapped only in a towel. Wade is the one who rented the room. He used a passport, paid cash for it. He leaves the room. He had 3 cell phones, one of which was used to place the ad, I am told, in the online hookup site that the cops were monitoring. That's how they found him.
Yeah.
So it sounds as if the case against him is pretty strong, but he's a jerk. Let's concentrate on the jerk rather than the bigger picture.
We want people to know that my beef is this: the Washington Post, CBS, they don't vet these guys. They just throw them out there like,
absolutely.
oh, yeah, they don't vet them. And I want to reemphasize, this is a 17-year-old. He's trafficking a 17-year-old, and that is a huge problem all across this country and all around the world.
You know who else didn't vet him?
But you know,
the White House didn't vet him. He was invited to.
Well, we don't know that yet. I'm not going to condemn the White House. This guy, according to him, he's Dr. Martin Luther King. So we can't believe this stuff.
I'll tell you what you can prove.
He's not
what this does.
But the White House should answer our questions.
The Black Lives Matter movement is alive and kicking because of President Obama. Under Obama, the race relations were supposed to get better under President Obama.
Well,
They've done nothing but become a wider